My child, there is someone who was once very close to you, or perhaps they are still in your circle, who holds a love for you that is so deep they cannot even find the words to speak it. They carry a weight of emotion and a longing for you that they find impossible to let go of, yet they continue to keep their distance. We are going to explore the real reason for this silence. It is not about the surface-level excuses they might tell others or the reasons that seem obvious on the outside. The truth is found in the way their heart still beats for you even while their feet stay far away. The first thing you need to understand is that they are absolutely terrified of the power you hold over their heart. This person has never felt anything like this for anyone else in their entire life. When you came into their world, you shook them to their core and awakened parts of their spirit they didn't even know were there. You exposed layers of their soul that had been hidden for years, and that level of exposure scares them more than they are willing to admit to you or even to themselves. When they look at you, they don't just see another person, they see a mirror that reflects everything they have ever wanted and everything they are deeply afraid of losing. They stay away because being around you makes them feel a level of vulnerability that they simply cannot control. To them, you are far too important and too unforgettable to treat casually. Your presence has a way of disarming them, stripping away their defenses and leaving them raw. While your absence feels like it is destroying them, being with you requires them to be more emotionally honest than they have ever been with anyone else. They aren't sure if they are ready to give that much of themselves yet. Another reason for the distance is a deep-seated belief that you deserve someone much better than the person they are right now. There is a lot of guilt hidden in their silence. It isn't that they are angry with you, and it certainly isn't that they don't care or are trying to reject you. It is purely guilt. Inside their mind, they are constantly telling themselves that they love you, but they aren't enough for you. They have this intense desire to reach out and come forward, but they are paralyzed by the fear of disappointing you. They worry that if they come back into your life now, they will only end up hurting you because they feel like they are still broken on the inside. They stay away because they don't feel like they are currently the version of themselves that you deserve to have. They have this vision of coming back to you only when they are fully healed, stable, and secure. They don't want to bring you half-formed emotions or the mess of their unfinished inner battles. They feel like they need to be whole and complete before they can stand in front of you and look you in the eye again. This person is fighting a constant war between their heart and their mind. While their heart remains completely loyal to you, their mind is busy trying to fight the connection. You have touched them at a spiritual level that feels too deep and too destined to be normal. This isn't a connection they can just walk away from, even though they have tried many times. They have attempted to distract themselves with work, other people, and hobbies, trying to convince themselves that what they feel for you is all in their head. But no matter what they do, the connection always comes back to them. Every single time they hear your name or remember the sound of your voice, you return to the forefront of their mind. In the quiet moments of the night when the world is still, they feel your presence most strongly. Their heart is constantly whispering your name, but their mind is shouting at them to be careful, to not lose control, and to protect themselves from getting hurt. This internal conflict is absolutely exhausting for them. They stay at a distance because they hope that the space will eventually weaken the bond they feel. However, they are finding out that the space only makes the connection feel stronger than ever before. Does this resonate with what you've been feeling? Please share your thoughts in the comments about how this connection has shown up in your own life. They are also dealing with deep emotional wounds that they have never shared with you. This person is carrying scars from their past, old betrayals, heartbreaks, and disappointments that they pretend do not exist. While you remind them of what love can be, love itself reminds them of the pain they have suffered in the past, and so they freeze. It is not that you caused these wounds, but their heart remembers the agony of losing something precious, and to them you are the most precious thing they have ever found. Staying close to you feels dangerous to them because it means they have something to lose. They feel that staying away is the safer option because they don't want to break again, and they certainly don't want to be the reason that you break. They are currently testing their own strength rather than testing you. It is important for you to realize that they aren't trying to see if you will chase them or if you will eventually get tired and stop caring. They are testing themselves to see if they can hold their own emotions together and if they can stabilize their heart without falling apart every time they think of you. The truth is that they are failing that test every single day. You are in their thoughts much more than they would ever admit to anyone. The distance they have created is hurting them more than you can imagine, and staying away is not making the M any stronger. In fact, it is making them more restless and more aware of just how deep their feelings for you truly run. They are beginning to realize that the silence isn't a cure, it's just a temporary shield that is starting to crack. They know that coming toward you would change their entire world, and they aren't quite ready for that level of transformation yet. You are not just a casual choice or a temporary interest for them. They know that if they take even one step toward you, if they have one honest conversation or make one true confession, everything between you will shift forever. It is not something that can ever be undone. It is put into motion. They understand that once they choose you, it becomes real, and the reality of that commitment is what scares them the most. They are staying away because they know that if they return, it won't be halfway, they will have to be all in. My child, they are constantly waiting for the perfect moment to come back to you, but they are finding that no time ever feels quite right. In their mind, they have created a long list of conditions that need to be met before they can reach out. They tell themselves that they will call you next week, or perhaps they will wait until they have fixed their own problems and feel more stable. They are convinced that there will be a day when they finally feel ready to face you. But the hard truth they are starting to realize is that there is no such thing as a perfect moment. Their heart is screaming that it wants you right now, but their fear is demanding more time to prepare. This delay has become both their biggest excuse and their heaviest punishment. The longer they wait, the more they find themselves missing you, and the more they miss you, the more difficult it feels to actually approach you. They feel like the gap between you is growing wider every day they stay silent. They are trapped in a cycle where they want to close the distance, but the weight of the time that has passed makes them feel like they need even more courage to break the silence. They worry that too much time has gone by for a simple hello to be enough. One of their deepest and most painful fears is the idea that you have already moved on with your life. They look at you from a distance and worry that you have become stronger without them, and that you have healed in ways that no longer include them. They are terrified that you have stopped waiting, stopped hoping, and eventually stopped caring about whether they return or not. In their mind, they see themselves falling behind in the story of your life. They fear that by the time they finally gather the strength to walk through the door, you will have already closed and locked it for good. Because of this fear, they often check on your energy in total silence. They might look at your social media posts or try to get a sense of your mood just to see if the person they miss so much is still there. They are looking for any sign that the is still a place for them in your world. Yet, instead of risking the pain of a direct rejection, they choose to stay quiet. They would rather live with the weight of unresolved feelings than face the possibility of you telling them it is too late. They choose the safety of distance over the potential hurt of the truth. Deep down, in the center of their soul, they are desperately hoping that you can still feel them. Even though they are far away, they wonder if you think about them as much as they think about you. They wonder if you can sense the connection that still exists, or if you can feel them missing you in the middle of the night. On some nights, they are absolutely certain that your energy is reaching out to them. They feel a pull in their chest that they cannot explain, a sense that you are still connected on a level that doesn't require words. Have you ever felt a sudden wave of someone's presence even when they weren't there? Tell me in the comments if you've sensed this person reaching out to you energetically. Even on the days when it feels like you might be fading away, your presence still lingers around their heart like a ghost. Their memories of you are like bookmarked pages in a favorite book that they keep coming back to read over and over again. They might not be talking to you right now, but that does not mean your souls are silent. There is a conversation happening between your spirits that the physical world cannot see. This spiritual bond is what keeps them anchored to you, even when they are trying their best to stay adrift. I want you to know the truth that is hidden beneath all of this distance. They are not staying away forever. They are only staying away long enough to stabilize their own emotions and gather the courage they need to be honest. They are slowly realizing that you aren't looking for them to be perfect, you are simply looking for them to be real. Your connection is not finished, and this chapter of your story has not been closed. There is more to be written between the two of you, and they know it deep in their bones. There will come a moment, it might happen slowly or it might happen all at once, where they simply cannot hold back their feelings anymore. Something will eventually push them over the edge. It might be a sudden memory that hits them too hard, a vivid dream of you, or a sign from the universe that they can no longer ignore. A massive wave of missing you will crash over them, and they will finally realize that life without you feels completely empty and hollow. That realization will be the force that pulls them back into your life. When they return, it won't be because they finally felt ready or because they had a perfect plan. It will be because their heart simply cannot handle the distance for one more second. They are not out of your life, and they have certainly not detached themselves from you. They are not indifferent to your pain or your absence, and they are definitely not free from the bond you share. They are just a person who is currently scared, overwhelmed, and emotionally unprepared for the depth of what they feel. The love they have for you is still there, and it is actually growing stronger because of the silence. It is building in the distance, becoming a force that they can no longer contain. They aren't staying away because they don't love you. They are staying away because they love you so much that it terrifies them. When they finally do return to you, they will come with a level of honesty and depth that they never had the courage to show you before. They will finally say out loud the things they have been whispering in their heart for all this time. My child, imagine for a moment the quiet struggle happening inside someone who cares for you more than they can say. They are currently caught in a cycle of silence that has nothing to do with a lack of love and everything to do with how much you have changed their internal world. You have to understand that this person is currently engaged in a deep internal war where their heart and their mind are at complete odds with one another. Their heart is entirely loyal to you, pulsing with a connection that feels ancient and destined, yet their mind is working overtime to build walls and find excuses to stay away. This is not a casual situation for them. It is a spiritual encounter that has forced them to look at parts of themselves they were never ready to face. This connection you share is not just a surface-level attraction or a passing phase. It is a bond that touches them at a soul level, and that is exactly why they are so hesitant right now. To them, you represent a mirror of every dream they've ever had and every fear they've ever buried. When they think of you, they don't just see a person they like. They see the possibility of a life that would require them to change everything about who they are currently. That kind of transformation is beautiful, but it is also incredibly intimidating to someone who has spent years protecting themselves from being hurt. The silence you are experiencing is actually a form of protection they have created for themselves. They stay at a distance because they are trying to see if they can survive without you, testing their own emotional strength every single day. They want to prove to themselves that they can control their thoughts and keep their hearts stable without collapsing every time your name comes to mind. But the reality of their situation is that they are failing this test constantly. The more space they try to put between you, the more they realize that the distance is only acting as a magnifying glass for their feelings. Every time they try to distract themselves or pretend that this connection was all in their head, something happens to pull them back to you. It might be a quiet moment at night when the world stops moving, or a song that reminds them of your voice, but you always return to the center of their thoughts. They are realizing that you are not someone they can just walk away from and forget. You have left a permanent mark on their spirit, and no matter how much they try to convince themselves otherwise, their heart continues to whisper your name in the dark. They are currently carrying a heavy load of emotional wounds that they have never even shown you. These are old scars from past heartbreaks and betrayals that have made them suspicious of anything that feels too good to be true. While your love feels like a gift, it also triggers their memory of what it felt like to lose something precious in the past. Because you are so valuable to them, the idea of losing you feels like a danger they aren't sure they can survive. This is why they freeze, not because of anything you did, but because they are terrified of being broken again. Have you ever felt like someone was pulling away just when things were getting deep? Please share your experience in the comments and let us know if you can sense the hidden pain behind their silence. Right now, they are stuck in a waiting game that they have created for themselves. They keep telling themselves that they will come toward you when life is more stable, or when they finally feel healed enough to be the person you deserve. They are waiting for a perfect moment that doesn't actually exist, using time as both an excuse and a way to punish themselves for not being ready yet. They want to come to you as a whole person, someone who is secure and ready to offer you everything, rather than bringing you the mess of their current inner battles. There is so much guilt in their quietness. They feel like they aren't enough for you in their current state, and they worry that if they reach out now, they will only end up letting you down. They would rather stay away and miss you than come forward and risk seeing the disappointment in your eyes. It is a strange kind of love that chooses distance as a way to protect you from their own perceived flaws. They are so focused on their own brokenness that they don't realize you aren't asking for perfection, you are just asking for the truth. They are also terrified that if they do take that step toward you, it will be the point of no return. They know that you aren't a casual choice, and that even one honest conversation would shift the entire foundation of your relationship. They understand that if they choose to return, they have to be all in, and the weight of that commitment is what keeps them standing on the sidelines. They are waiting for the courage to handle the realness of a connection that is far deeper than anything they have ever experienced. In their solitude, they are constantly wondering if you still feel the same way they do. They worry that while they have been struggling in silence, you have moved on and found a version of strength that no longer requires them. They fear that the door they are so desperate to walk through has already been closed and de-locked by your hand. Sometimes they check on you silently, looking for any sign that you still care, but they are too afraid to ask because they can't handle the idea that it might be too late. But the truth that lies beneath all of this fear is that your story is far from over. They are not staying away forever. They are simply gathering the pieces of themselves so they can return with the honesty you deserve. They are waiting for that one moment, a dream, a sign, or a sudden wave of longing that will finally outweigh their fear and push them back into your arms. They are realizing that life without you is a void that no amount of time or distance can fill. This person is not detached or indifferent to you. They are actually more aware of you now than they have ever been. Their love is growing in the silence, building up a pressure that will eventually have to be released. They stay away not because they don't love you, but because the depth of their love has overwhelmed their current ability to handle it. When they do finally break their silence, it won't be with excuses, it will be with the raw, vulnerable truth they have been hiding for so long. They are learning that perfection is not a requirement for connection, and that the space they created is actually the very thing making them more restless for you. The connection you share is a living thing, and even though there is distance between your bodies, your souls are still very much in conversation. Trust that the walk they are doing in the dark is leading them back to the light of your presence. This chapter is just a pause, not the end of the book. My child, the silence between you right now is not a sign of emptiness, but a heavy container for everything they are currently too afraid to say. They are stuck in a cycle of waiting for a moment that feels perfect, but they are slowly beginning to realize that such a moment might never actually arrive. In their mind, they tell themselves that they will reach out once they have their life together, once they have found more stability, or once they finally feel ready to face the intensity of what you share. But time has become a double-edged sword for them. It is the excuse they use to stay safe, and yet it is also the very thing that is making their heart ache with every passing second. The longer they wait, the more the mountain between you seems to grow, making it feel harder and harder to just pick up the phone or walk back into your life. One of the biggest reasons they remain in the shadows is the terrifying thought that you have already moved on without them. They watch your life from a distance and wonder if you have become so strong and so healed that you no longer have a place for them in your heart. They fear that while they were busy fighting their own inner demons, you stopped waiting and stopped hoping for their return. This person often checks on you in total silence, looking at your social media or asking around about your mood, just to see if the version of you they miss is still there. They are looking for a sign that the door hasn't been locked forever, yet they are too paralyzed by the fear of rejection to simply knock and find out. Deep down, they are desperately hoping that you can still feel the connection even across the distance. They wonder if you think about them when the night gets quiet, or if you can sense them missing you from afar. On some days they feel like you might be fading away, but then a sudden wave of your energy reaches them, and they are reminded that your souls are not silent. Your memories are like bookmarked pages in their mind that they return to every single day. They are trying to gather their courage and stabilize their emotions so that when they do come back, they can offer you the honesty and depth you have always deserved. Do you feel like this person is close to breaking their silence, or does the distance still feel too wide? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments about how you are handling this period of waiting. You should know that they are not planning to stay away forever. There is a momentum building in the distance that is eventually going to push them back toward you. It might be a dream that feels too real to ignore, a specific song that plays at the exact right time, or just a sudden realization that a life without you feels completely hollow. When that moment comes, it won't be because they finally felt perfectly prepared. It'll be because their heart simply cannot handle the weight of missing you for one more minute. Their return will be driven by a need for truth and a realization that you were never looking for perfection, just a real and honest connection. This person is not out of your life because they have stopped caring or because they have found someone else. They are staying away because they are overwhelmed by the power of what they feel for you. They are scared of the vulnerability that being with you requires, but that fear is slowly being overtaken by the pain of your absence. When they finally stand in front of you again, they will bring with them all the words they were too afraid to say, and all the love they have been growing in the dark. Your story together is not finished, and the distance is only a chapter that is preparing both of you for a much deeper and more honest reunion. They are currently in a state of emotional preparation, trying to find the words to explain why they vanished and why they stayed away for so long. They know that their silence has been a form of punishment for both of you, and they are beginning to see that the safety they sought in distance was actually just a different kind of pain. The connection you share is too powerful to be undone by space or time. It is a bond that exists outside of the physical world, and it is that very bond that will eventually guide them back to your side. They think about you more than they would ever admit to another owl. They replay your conversations in their head and wonder if they could have done things differently. They are wrestling with the guilt of leaving you wondering, yet they are still trying to convince themselves that you are better off without them. This internal struggle is what keeps them in place. But the tether between your hearts is starting to pull tighter. They are finding that the more they try to walk away, the more they feel drawn back to the light you bring into their life. Even though they are not speaking to you right now, they are not free from you. You are a constant presence in their mind, a ghost of what could be and what should be. They are learning that they cannot run from a connection that is written in the stars. Every day they spend apart from you is a day they spend realizing that no one else can fill the space you left behind. They are coming to terms with the fact that they would rather face the fear of being vulnerable with you than live the rest of their life wondering, what if? The journey back to you is already beginning in their spirit. They are shedding the old fears and the old excuses that kept them paralyzed in the silence. They are realizing that the time for maybe later has passed and that the only thing that matters is being honest with you. When they finally reach out, it will be with a heart that has been tempered by the fire of missing you and a soul that is ready to be fully seen. Trust that the silence is not the end, but a bridge to a much more authentic and powerful love. They are waiting for that final push, that last bit of strength to overcome the walls they built. It could be something as small as a memory of your laugh, or as big as a life event that makes them realize how much they need your support. Whatever it is, the momentum is shifting. They are moving away from the safety of their fear and toward the risk of your love. This return will not be a casual one. It will be a deep commitment to never let the silence win again. Your patience has been a testament to the strength of this bond, and your energy has been the lighthouse that is bringing them home. They have sensed your light even when they were lost in their own darkness. They know that they have a lot of explaining to do, and they are preparing themselves to be the person you deserve. The distance is closing. The silence is breaking, and the love that stayed alive in the shadows is finally ready to step into the sun. Every moment of this separation has served a pose, even if it has been painful. It has taught them that they cannot live without the depth of feeling you provide. It has shown them that their fears are smaller than their love for you. They are emerging from this period of isolation with a new perspective and a deeper appreciation for what you share. They are no longer the same person who ran away. They are someone who has realized that you are worth every bit of the fear they feel. Soon the phone will ring, or a message will appear, or you will find them standing where they used to be. And in that moment, all the silence of the past months or years will fall away, replaced by a truth that has been waiting for its time to be spoken. You will see in their eyes that they never truly left you, and they will see in yours that you were always the home they were trying to find. This is the natural conclusion to a connection as deep as yours, a return to the heart, a return to the truth, and a return to the love that never truly faded. Everything is moving in the right direction, even if it feels like nothing is happening. The wheels of destiny are turning, and the silence is just the breath before the conversation begins again. Stay grounded in your own worth and keep your heart open, because the person who loves you too much to stay away is finally finding their way back to you. The distance was just a test of the heart, and your hearts have already passed with flying colors.